17th century European slave ship to fulfill a prophecy already fulfilled in 600 BC. To apply Deuteronomy 28 verse 68 to African Americans is to rip scripture out of its prophetic context and force it onto modern suffering. God doesn't need us to be victims to prove that we are chosen, and yet there is this amazing link between Africans and Jews, but it does not replace the two. It was an African man that carried the cross of Jesus Christ, our Messiah. And so there is always going to, it was an African man that carried the cross of Jesus Christ, our Messiah. And so there is always going to do, it was an African man that carried the cross of Jesus Christ, our Messiah.
Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah. Call Halayim La Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Rakai Ha Kwadash. And double honor to the elders and apostles, the men of great millstone. And to the rest of the brethren on down that's teaching and preaching the true doctrine of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Shadawan Bayashah Davada. And to the Akim and Akwat that decide to repent, to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, whose fathers go back to one of the 12 sons of the patriarch Jacob Yashar Allah. Shalom to you, Mashpachah. The Shahakarab coming at you with a quick one. And I'm gonna try to make it quick, because I got a few of these things that I want to bring out. But the main thing that I want to address again on something that this individual said was the thing that I played at the end, where it kept repeating itself concerning an African man carried the cross of Yahushua. It wasn't no motherfucking African man. It was an Israelite. See? And this is the issue with people, that how they don't get it. How they don't get it. Instead of you acknowledging that these people was, see, that's how you know these people is done, man. These people is done. See? Because they don't know nothing pertaining to the scriptures. Where you got Israelites that was being called a place just say where they was dwelling at. Instead of saying that, okay, it was an Israelite, they would say like what he was talking about. Like he's talking about the brother Simon of Cyrene. You see? He was an Israelite. He wasn't no African man. He wasn't no Hamite. See? But these people don't get it. See? But I just want to go, as a matter of fact, I want to read a few first, but then I'm going to come down to it. See? Because, matter of fact, let's just get straight to it, right? Now, let's go to Deuteronomy first. We go deal with our forefather, Yasharallah. We go deal with him first. Deuteronomy 26. Slakia. Deuteronomy 26. And let's go down to 5. And let's see what our forefather, what was he called? Now, is this who he was? No, it wasn't. Now, because why? He is a Hebrew. But what it says right here pertains to our forefather. Deuteronomy 26 and 5. And thou shalt speak and say, before the Lord thy God, a Syrian ready to perish was my father. And he went down into Egypt and sojourned there with a few, and became there a nation, great, mighty, and populous. Who was this talking about? Who was that talking about when it says a Syrian ready to perish was my father? Who was this talking about? Our forefather Yasharallah. Now, was he a Syrian? No, he wasn't. Now, why was he being called a Syrian? See, why was he being called a Syrian? Because he went to dwell with his uncle Laban, that was also called a Syrian. But was he a Syrian? No, he was a Hebrew. These people were Hebrews. See? They wasn't no Syrian. So he dwelled in Syria. See? That's what people don't get this, man. They don't get it. You got all kinds of people that live in locations, but they not the people of the location. Meaning, just like you calling yourself an American. They like to call our people. The African Americans. We ain't no African and we ain't no motherfucking American. See? We are the Hebrew Israelites, period. That's our nationality. That's our ethnicity. See? But I want to go and read these real quick pertaining to, before I go read those, going to why he was called a Syrian. Let's go and find out who was he. Was he a Syrian or not? Let's go back real quick. Genesis. I don't want to do too much talking. I just want to make all these points and get this done. Right? Genesis 14 and verse 13 pertaining to Abraham, our forefather. And what it says, and there came, let's read up a little bit. Let's start, all right, let's start at 12. Why not? Genesis 14 to 12. And they took Lot, Abraham's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed. And there came one that had escaped, and told Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre, the Amorite, brother of Ishcal, and brother of Honor, and these were confederate with Abram. But what was Abraham called? A Hebrew, right? So when you fast forward all the way to, of course, if Abraham was called a Hebrew, you know his son Isaac was also a Hebrew. And if Isaac had a son Jacob, his son Jacob was also a Hebrew. So when it was referred, Jacob was called a Syrian in Deuteronomy 20:65. Was he a Syrian? No, he wasn't. He is a Hebrew, but he was called a Syrian. See? But we're going to get why he was called a Syrian, but let's grab these other ones real quick. Let's go to Joseph. Genesis. Right? Pertaining to our forebrother Joseph. Genesis 39. And let's go through. You see what it says right here. Joseph's success in Egypt. But let's go down to the point, though. Right? 13. Yeah, we'll start at 13. But it's 14. And it came to pass, when she saw that he had left his garment, meaning this was a Hamite broad, trying to get our forebrother to commit adultery with her. And he like, hell no, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. But just coming on down to the point, go back and read it yourself. But 13. And it came to pass, when they saw that he had left, when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand, and was fled forth, that she called unto the men of her house, and spake to them, saying, he had brought in an Hebrew unto us to mock us. He came in unto me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice. But it came to pass, when he heard that he had lifted up my voice, that I had lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled and got him out. And she laid up his garment by her until his Lord came home. And what? And what she say? 17. And she spake unto him according to these words, saying, the Hebrew servant which thou hast brought unto us came unto me to mock me. Now, she was sitting back lying, but the point of my reading is, what was Joseph being called? A Hebrew. Because why? Who is he? He's a Hebrew Israelite. You see that? He's a Hebrew. Why? Because he's a descendant of Abraham. Why is he an Israelite? Because he's one of the sons of Yasharallah, whose name was changed to Yasharallah from Yahweh. You see? So who are we? We are the Hebrew Israelites. Why? Because our progenitor is Abraham, and our progenitor is Jacob, Yasharallah. That's why we the Hebrew Israelites. We ain't no fucking African Americans. You see? Now, let's grab 40, though. And now, what did Joseph say concerning where he from? Right? What did he say? Let's go down to it. Straight to the point. What did he say pertaining to our land? And what it says. Matter of fact, let's get straight to the point for the sake of time. Genesis 40 and 15. For indeed, I was stolen away out of the land of the Hebrews. Wait a minute. when we was dwelling in that land during the time, was that land given to us yet before we actually got it? No, it wasn't. It was still called the land of Canaan. We didn't receive the land until after 400 and some years, after the late 400 years at that, after Abraham left out of there. Well, after Abraham had his sons, but we received the land 400 years later after the Most High made the promise to Abraham concerning his seed, concerning his offspring, us the Israelites that was going to come back into that land in the fourth generation when you go to Genesis the 15th chapter. See? So during that time when we dwelt in the land the first time, it wasn't called the land of the Israelites. But what did he say right here? Because why? He was speaking concerning the promise that it was going to be our land. It was always our land anyway. See? But he was speaking according to the promise that Yahweh, our father, made to our forefather Abraham. See? That's why he said, indeed, I was stolen away out of the land of the Hebrews. See? But it wasn't our land yet. We didn't receive the land until after we came out of Egypt. See? That's when we received it. That's when we received the promise. That's when that promise that he made to Abraham was fulfilled. See? That we was going to come back into the land in the fourth generation. But hey, I digress. I don't want to go into it further. But the point I'm making is, was that the land of the Hebrews then? Yeah, he was speaking according to the promise that he knew that the land was given to us, but it wasn't given to us yet. But he said the land of the Hebrews. Now, at that time, it was the land of Canaan. It was the land of Canaan. You see? Now, let's go get this other one. What did Paul say concerning himself? 1 Corinthians. And I'm just going through these first to show to show that we ain't no Africans. We ain't no Syrians. We ain't no Africans. We ain't no Chaldees, which I'm gonna grab those too. See? We are the Hebrew Israelites. Period. So that when I come down to the point, that individual that helped Mashiach carry his cross, he wasn't no damn African. He was a Hebrew Israelite that was where? Living in where? Cyrene. See? And I'm going to the information showing you that why I said that. These individuals are stupid. These motherfuckers are stupid as hell, man. Talking about that, oh yeah, and he was an African. He's just stupid as hell, man. Dumb as hell. Dumb as hell, man. Bandwagon for these damn devils and shit. Your ass gonna be destroyed with the rest of these 2/3 assholes. But let me grab this. 2 Corinthians 11. And let's go down to 22. What did Paul say concerning who is he? Right? Let's grab it. 22. I'm just going to straight to the point. And what he says. 2 Corinthians 11 and 22. Are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they Israelites? So am I. Are they the seed of Abraham? So am I. You see? So we are the Hebrew Israelites. Period. Point blank. We ain't nothing else. We ain't no Africans. We ain't no Africans. We ain't no Syrians. We ain't no Chaldees. We the Hebrew Israelites. Period. No matter where we at in the earth, no matter what city we stay in, no matter what state we stay in, no matter what country we in, we are the Hebrew Israelites. No matter where your ass at on the earth. Period. See? But let's go back to that Deuteronomy concerning our forefather, right? 26 and verse 5. And it says what? And thou shalt speak and say before the Lord thy God, a Syrian ready to perish was my father. Why did it say ready to perish? Because there was a famine in the land of Canaan. It was a famine throughout all the land of Canaan, and then what Yahweh told us to do. He told our forefathers to go dwell down in Egypt. And there I'm gonna multiply you exceedingly. See? But let's continue. And he went down into Egypt and sojourned there with a few, and became there a nation great, mighty, and populous. Right? Now, why was he called a Syrian? Let's grab it. Let's grab Hosea. Hosea, the 12th chapter. This is why he was called a Syrian. And it says what? Let me see. Yeah, I'll just read down to the point. And it says what? Hosea 12 and 12. And Jacob fled into the country of Syria. And Yashar'Allah served for a wife, and for a wife he kept sheep. Now what did he do? He fled to Syria. This is why. Because he was dwelling with his uncle, Laban, to go get those wives, following what his father and his mother told him. Go and don't mess with these Canaanite women. Go down and to your mother. His father told him, go to your mother's brother and get a wife of his daughters. His mother told him, go to my brother Laban and get a wife, going to get a wife of his daughters. Go take his daughters for your wives. See, this is why he was called a Syrian. Genesis 28. And let's start at 4. And give thee the blessing of Abraham to thee, and to thy seed with thee, that thou mayest inherit the land wherein thou art a stranger, which Yahweh gave unto Abraham. And Isaac sent Jacob, and he went to Padan Aram, where unto Laban the son of Bethuel, meaning why? Who? The Syrian, the brother of Rebekah, Jacob's and Esau's mother. So what it says, why was Jacob being called a Syrian? Because he was dwelling in Syria with his uncle. This is why he was called a Syrian. But was he a Syrian? No, these are Hebrews. Laban was a Hebrew. Jacob is a Hebrew. See? But they was dwelling in a location. So just because you was in a certain location don't mean that you are the people, the original inhabitants of that land. See? We was called Chaldees too. When you go into the history in the book of Judith. See? As a matter of fact, let's grab that real quick. Let's get it. Judith, the 5th chapter. And let me see. 6. Now, when you read this goes in the story. I'm gonna try to read it quick. Judith 5 and verse 1. Then was it declared to Holofernes, the chief captain of the army of Asher, that the children of Yashar'Allah had prepared for war, and had shut up the passages of the hill country, and had fortified all the tops of the hills, and had laid impediments in the campaign countries. Wherewith he was very angry, and called all the princes of Moab, and the captains of Ammon, and all the governors of the sea coast, and he said unto them, tell me now, ye sons of Canaan. Now wait a minute. Is Moab a son of Canaan? The sons of Canaan? Hell no. Moab is the descendants of Lot. They ain't no sons of Canaan. But why was they being referred to as Canaan? And it says what? And Ammon. Is Ammon the son of Canaan? No, because that whole landmass was being called the land of Canaan at that time, back in the day. See? And it says what? Who, he asked him, he says what? And he said unto them, tell me now, ye sons of Canaan, who this people is. What people? Us, the Israelites, that dwelleth in the hill country, and what are the cities that they inhabit, and what is the multitude of their army, and wherein is their power and strength, and what king is set over them, or captain of their army? And why have they determined to come why have they determined not to come and meet me more than all the inhabitants of the west? Then said Achior, the captain of all the sons of Ammon, let my lord now hear a word. Wait, what did he say? He said, well, wait a minute. He said he says, tell me this, ye sons of Canaan. Moab, Achior ain't no Canaanite. See? He was talking to Moabites and Ammonites and the governors of the coast of the sea, meaning the people that dwelt in this land. Ammon and Moab ain't no motherfucking Canaanites. But he called them that. Why? Because of the place where they was dwelling at. See? And it says what? Let my Lord now hear a word from the mouth of thy servant, and I will declare unto thee the truth concerning this people, which dwelleth near thee, and inhabit all the hill countries. And there shall no lie come out of my mouth, the mouth of thy servant. This people are descended of the Chaldeans. Wait. He said these people are what? Descendants of the Chaldees. We ain't no Chaldeans. See, we are the Hebrew Israelites, but what was he calling us right there? He said we are descendants of the Chaldees. What is he talking about? What was he talking about? We are Hebrews, Israelites. But he said we are descendants of the Chaldees. Why? Because he was speaking concerning where our forefather Abraham came from. The land he was dwelling in. See? Which don't mean nothing. The land you dwelling in don't determine who you are as a person or a people. See? Period. See? But let's go grab this real quick, though. Do I want to grab something else? No, that's fine with this one. Let's go get it. Let's grab the book of Hebrews real quick before I do this. Hebrews 11 and 9, right? Because what was said here? Because where Abraham was dwelling at, where he took his journey with, who did he took his journey with once he had his sons? And it says what? 11 and 8, by faith, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed, and he went out, not knowing where he went. By faith he sojourned in a land of promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles. Tabernacles is basically tents or something that you're set up to live in, right? But it's really tents because, they was moving from one location to another, so they was, basically living in tents. And it says what? As in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with who? Isaac and who? And Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. So wait a minute. Abraham was doing what? Moved from one location to the next with his sons. With his son and his grandson. His son Isaac and his grandson Jacob. You see? So let me go right here real quick. See, because I wanted to actually read that Judas all the way down to verse 9. Well, actually 10, but hey, we'll let it be. But let me grab this. Genesis 11. And let's go, I think, around 28. And what it says right here, start at 27. Now, these are the generations of Terah. Terah begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And Haran begat Lot. And Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his nativity, in Ur of the Chaldees. See? So this is why he said this people, when he was talking about us the Israelites, they are descendants of the Chaldeans. Why? Because of this. It ain't talking about, it's talking about we are descendants of who? The Hebrews that came out of what? What location? Out of the Chaldees, man. See? Where our forefathers was dwelling at. So that's what it's talking about. Not that they're the Chaldean people. They're the Chaldees. They're the same as Nebuchadnezzar. No. Nebuchadnezzar wasn't no Hebrew Israelite. See? But let me go to the point that I want to get into. Because the individual made a statement. I just read those for a reason. To show that we was being called these different things. But who are we? We the Hebrew Israelites. See? So when you come into the New Testament, right, what this individual was talking about, Matthew, the 27th chapter, right? And let's go down to the 32nd verse. See, this individual right here, he wasn't no African. He was an Israelite, right? Let's start at 31. And after that, they had mocked him. They took the robe from off him. They took the robe off him and put his own raiment on him and led him away to crucify him. The point, 32. And as they came out, they found a man of Cyrene, Simeon. They found a man of Cyrene, Simon, by name. Him they compelled to bear his cross. Now, he said this is an African right here. This ain't no African. Just because this individual, this Israelite, was living in Cyrene, which is in North Africa, that don't mean that he's an African. See? Because the land that you're living in or dwelling in, or city that you're living in, it don't mean nothing. You are who you are as a people. It don't matter where you're living at. See? So that shows that he's simple as hell right there. But why did it say Cyrene? Now we're going to find out who was this person. Why? Let's just get it, man. Let's just get it. Cyrene. Let's go into this real quick. Cyrene. Right? Now, it says Cyrene, right? Kyrenias, or whatever. And it says what? A native of Cyrene, right? It says Cyrene, Cyrenian. And it happened. Now let's go grab this stuff right here. And it says Cyrene or Cyrene, right? It says Cyrene equals supremacy of the bridle. A large and very flourishing city of Libya, Cyrenica, or Cyrene, whatever, or Polytinia, or whatever, about 11 miles, 17 kilometers from the sea. Among its inhabitants were a great large number of who? Judites, whom Ptolemy the First had brought there and invested with the right of citizens. What did it say? It's a large inhabitant of it. What it says, just a great number of our people that dwells in Cyrene. Now let's punch this up real quick, and I'm going to show you. Let's read this and get back into it. Now, you see where we at in Bible tools. Just get a little bit information, right? Now we're going to come down and we're going to start right here around the second paragraph right here. And it says what? Many Jews migrated to Egypt and took up their abode there. The what? The migration began in the days of Solomon. 2 Kings 18:21-24. Isaiah 30:7. Alexander the Great placed a large number of Judites in Alexandria, which he had founded, and what? Conferred on them equal rights with the Egyptians. What? Equal rights. It says Ptolemy, Philadelphus, it is said, caused the Judites' scriptures to be translated into Greek. The work began 284 BC for the use of the Alexandrian what? Judites that was dwelling in Alexandria. Ain't no such thing as no Alexandria Jews. No, it's Israelites that was dwelling in Alexandria. And it says what? The Judites in Egypt continued for many ages to exercise a powerful influence on the public interests of that country. From Egypt, they spread along the coast of Africa to Cyrene and to Ethiopia. You see that? You see what it says right there? Cyrene. So who was that individual that helped Mashiach carry his cross? It wasn't no African. It was a Hebrew Israelite from the tribe of Judah that dwelled in Cyrene. Basically, he was born there. See? Let's go back to the text though. You see? So reading it again, Matthew 27:32. And as they came out, they found a man of Cyrene, Simon by name. Him they compelled to bear his cross. So was this Simon? Was he an Israelite or was he an African? He was an Israelite. See? And that's another thing with our people. You know, you a bunch of damn dumbasses. You got a lot of people that's over there at Demona. They over there calling themselves the African Hebrew Israelites. What the fuck is you talking about? You are simply an Hebrew Israelite. That's it. You putting all this other stuff between. You don't put a landmass and say a landmass got something to do with your identity. No. Our people are stupid as hell, man. They don't know nothing. But let's go grab this one right here, bro. In Mark 15, same thing. Mark 15:21. Let's go to it real quick. Mark 15:21. And they compelled one Simon, a Cyrenian, who passed by coming out of the country, the father of Alexander and Rufus, to bear his cross. Coming out of what country? See? But the point is, this was an Israelite right here. Period, point blank. That's why when you go into Acts the 2nd chapter, and I'm just dealing with this Cyrenian right quick. That's why when you go into Acts the 2nd chapter and you go down to 10, now what does it say right here pertaining to this? When you grab 5, and it says what? And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews. As a matter of fact, let's go up a little bit, just to get to the point, and I'm going to jump down. And it says, verse 1, Acts 2 and 1, and when the day of the Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place. Who was in one accord in one place? Let's go back down to it. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Judites, devout men, out of every nation under heaven. You see that meaning in these different places. And they was called what? What they was being called? They was being called, starting at 9 to get to the point, verses 10. And it says what? Acts 2 and 9. Parthians and Medes and Elamites and dwellers of Mesopotamia and in Judah and in Cappadocia, in Pontus and Asia. Who are these individuals that was born in these places? These were Israelites from the southern kingdom, Judites or Judeans, what you would say, which was what? Dwelling in the land of Parthians and the Medes and Elam, and dwellers of Mesopotamia and Judah, Cappadocia, Pontus and Asia, which is Asia Minor during that time, which is modern-day Turkey. See? And then continuing, Pergia and Pamphylia and Egypt and parts of Libya about Cyrene, and strangers of Rome, Jews and proselytes. All these are Israelites from the southern kingdom that was dwelling in these places. And what was one of the other places they were dwelling in? Cyrene. You see? You see? So these people don't get it. Just because his name was called Simon of Cyrene don't mean he was a heathen, or don't mean he was an African or a Hamite and all that stuff. He was an Israelite that dwelled in there. See? The same thing when you go to Matthew, the 10th chapter. Now we know these individuals in Matthew, the 10th chapter, was what? These were all Israelites right here. But what was this one Israelite referred to? For verse 4. It says what? Simon the Canaanite. Was this Simon, was he really a Canaanite? No, this was an Israelite. Why was he being referred to as a Canaanite? Because he was dwelling. This was an Israelite that was dwelling in the land. He just was called that. Slakia. Going back to Matthew 10 and verse 4. And you see, all these individuals are Israelites right here. All 12 of them. But you see, he was being called a what? Simon the Canaanite. Now, this is a different Simon, but what was he called? What was he called? An Canaanite. You see? Just like when you go into the book of Susanna. Let's grab that real quick. Let's go get it. Susanna. One, and let's go to it. But first, we're going to read the first. Where's that at? Yeah, we'll read these real quick. And it says what? Now, matter of fact, you know what? Yeah, I'll read them. It says, Susanna 1 and verse 1. There dwelt a man in Babylon called Joachim, and he took a wife whose name was Susanna, the daughter of Celsius, a very beautiful woman, and one that feared Yahweh. Her parents also were righteous and taught her their daughter according to the law of Mashah. Now Joachim was a great rich man, and had a beautiful garden joined unto his house, and to him restored the Judites, because he was more honorable than all others. Verse 5. The same year were appointed 2 of the ancients of the people to be judges. Wait a minute. Now, do you actually think that our people were set to be over them, some heathens, to judge them, to judge matters pertaining to them? No. So who was these 2 judges right here? They was Israelites. But it says what? Such as the Lord spake of, that wickedness came from Babylon, from ancient judges who seemed to govern the people. Now I'm going to repeat it again. You actually think that our people will set judges over them concerning matters that's dealing with them that will be of a heathen? You think a heathen would judge us? No, that's why when you go into the book of Judges, it's all Israelites. Wouldn't no heathen be judging matters pertaining to us? See? But let's go down to and what these individuals was called. Let's go down to it real quick. Let's go all the way down to it. Straight to the point. Verse 55. Susanna 1 and 55. And Daniel said very well, Thou hast lied against thy own head. For even now the angel of Yahweh had received the sentence of Yahweh to cut thee in two. So he put him asunder. And that first one was who? It was an Israelite, right? Now, when you come here, verse 56. So he put him inside and commanded to bring the other, and said unto him, O thou seed of Canaan. Wait, what? O thou seed of Canaan, and not of Judah? Beauty had deceived thee, and lust had perverted thy heart. Thus have ye dwelt with the daughters of Yashar'Allah, and they for fear company with you. But the daughter of Judah, what? But the daughter of Judah. So it's telling you that this individual, he did these same things to particular women that might have been, because all the northern kingdom during that time, all the northern kingdom wasn't among us as totality, but you had individuals of the northern kingdom. But this same individual would have did these things to them. See? And then he would have prevailed over them. They would have been persuaded to do those things, beguiled to do those things. See, to basically give up the box to his ass so he wouldn't, because he was blackmailing them, telling a lie. So he did this with them, but he couldn't do this with this sister. See? But what was this individual being called? He says, O thou seed of Canaan. This is one of the judges. Who would this judge have been? He would have been an Israelite, but what was this Israelite being called? Slakia. But what was this Israelite being called? He was being called a seed of Canaan. He ain't no damn, no Hamite. This is an Israelite right here. And not of Judah, beauty had deceived thee, and lust had perverted thy heart. Thus have ye dwelt with the daughters of Israel, the northern kingdom. It says what? And they for fear company with you. But the daughter of Judah would not abide your wickedness. You see that? So this is another Israelite right here. That one, he was being called what? The seed of Canaan. He wasn't no seed of Canaan. See? He wasn't no Hamite. See? So these people, hey man, these people, they don't get it, man. These people is Israelites. When you go into the streets, because you've been indoctrinated with these devils and you don't get it. See? The same way with Paul, just like he was referred to as being a Roman. Because why? He has citizenship. That's why. He had Roman citizenship, but was he a Roman? No. Let's get it real quick and get these two and end it off. What it says, let me see. Acts 22, let's get that one. Acts 22, and it says what? And we're going to come straight to 3. And what did he say? I am verily a man which am a Judite, born in Tarsus, a city in Cilicia, yet brought up in the city at the feet of Gamaliel, and taught according to the perfect manner of the law of the fathers, and was zealous towards Yahweh, as ye are this day. As ye all are this day. You see that? But where was he from? He was from Tarsus, and from a city of Cilicia. See? But who are you? Who is he? Who was he? See? Who was he? Was he not an Israelite? Yes, he was an Israelite. We already know what it says. Let's grab it. Romans 11 and verse 1. What did he say? Now, he was born in these places. But what? What was he? Who was he? I say then, had Yahweh cast away his people? Yahweh forbid. For I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. You see that? So Paul didn't say, although he said, what was that in Acts? I think it's Acts 23, I think. Acts 20, is it 23? I think. Where he said, when he's asking, Art thou a Roman? Art thou a Roman? Is it 21? I think it's 21. No, Slacky. Nope. It's Acts 22. But further down in the chapter, I think. Let me see. Come on now. Let me see. Where you at? Because they asked him, are you a Roman? See, so that don't mean that's why they did the same thing with dealing with Cornelius. Oh, Cornelius, he was an Italian, he was a man in an Italian band. So what? That don't mean that he was a damn heathen. He was an Israelite. Because hey, ain't no angels going to no damn heathens and saying to like you, I'm here for to have somebody come speak this truth to you and then preach it. Man, you people are stupid as hell, man. It's all about Yasha Allah, period. And what it says right here, start at 25, Acts 22 and 25. And as they bound him with thongs, Paul said unto the Cyrene that stood by him, is it lawful for you to scourge a man that is a Roman and uncondemned? When the Cyrene heard that, he went and told the chief captain, saying, take heed what ye do. What would thou do? For this man is a Roman. But wait a minute. Is he a Roman? Okay, he a Roman. He had Roman citizenship. But he was born where? In Tarsus, in the city of Cilicia. See? But who was he? He was a Hebrew Israelite from the tribe of Benjamin. You see that? So these people are stupid as hell, man. Just like Barnabas. Barnabas was born where? In Cyprus. This is outside of our land. This is outside our land. But he was born in Cyprus, but where he was from? He was a Hebrew Israelite of the tribe of Levi. See, so these people are full of shit, man. They don't know nothing because why? You're still following after what these Edomites told you, thinking that, oh no, the New Testament is for everybody. You're damn dumbasses. And I'm going to end it off there because I ran my mouth long enough. But it's just to proclaim the truth. Shalom, Yasharala. Why? Abba, Babal.